Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 2 of the Baseball Boys Archive, a historical journey through the history of the Baseball Boys Fantasy Baseball League, as well as its owners, its coaches, and their personal history. Some they want aired out, some they may not. I am once again welcoming Dr. Historian Engstrom to the show. Dr. Historian Engstrom, welcome.
Josiah, it is my pleasure once again to be on this show. This is an esteemed show that I just absolutely love to be on.
I love the fact that you're on our show too, and I would love it even more if I could see you.
Oh, yeah, wait, where's that button? There we go.
There he is. There's the man, the myth, and the legend. Once again, welcome to the show. I do appreciate all the praise that you gave to us. By the way, folks, if you could go online, vote for us. We are up for some awards, some Fantasy Baseball Show awards. I would appreciate that very much. So, Dr. Historian Engstrom, today we are talking about a team that historically has not lived up to the hype, that historically has struggled. But this year, not only are they turning over a new leaf, but she's turning over an entire forest. Sitting at 6-0 in first place, today we are talking about LionLover 15. What do you have to say about this team to get us started today?
Well, first of all, I am shocked that this person has turned it around. As you heard in an earlier interview, she's putting a whopping 8 minutes a week into her team. Maybe Joe could take a lesson from that. But this is a kid who is intense. She doesn't let the pressure get her. She is focused. She is driven. And she knows what she wants to get.
Yeah, I think we are all a little bit shocked, to be honest. When I went into that interview last week, I already had questions written up about what it's like to be in last place again. And I had to throw out that entire script. So, yeah, I do think Joe could take a couple lessons from that. Maybe 2, maybe 3 lessons. Who knows? So I guess I'm going to ask you, on a personal level, how well do you know Danielle? How well do you know LionLover? Because I think sometimes when we talk about these players, we talk about them as if they're objects, right? They're just there for entertainment. And that's part of what this show wants to do. We want to deep dive into who they are as people and see them as people. What's your relationship with her?
Well, she has known me all her life. The entire way. She started playing baseball at a young age. She started envying her older brothers and seeing how they played. And I started to see some intensity in that kid when I said, this girl can play the game.
Now, she also played softball too, softball and baseball. And when she played those, I know you mentioned the intensity, and I think intensity is very important. But so is self-control in those situations. Now, her personality, her skill, her honestly, her style, right? Did she roll the pants up? Did she leave them down? Tell us about her playing days.
Well, I'm going to use one word first. Focus and dedicated. Take a look at that. That is a kid right there who says, I am playing this game. And nobody stopped her. When the ball came in, she was focused. She knew what she had to hit. And when she got on base, and I think this is where the LionLover stuff came from, this girl was fast. Take a look at that form. Hands straight up, focused on her coach, legs going every different direction, but that girl knew where she wanted to get to, just like in the fantasy league. She knows where she wants to get to, and that is to the top of the dog pile.
I completely agree. And we saw a lot of that intensity, but also control, in that interview, and the way that she talked about her team and the way she was able to adjust. Now, obviously, you saw from those photos, athleticism. She got a little bit, I guess. But I think the intensity is really where everything came from. Now, did she continue to play into college or those types of days, or was she kind of done from an early age?
Well, she took a leave of absence sometime around middle school. She talked to her agent. Her agent said, "Hey, your better days are ahead of you. You need a leave of absence." She got into college, and just last week in the softball tournament for her intramural team, she went yard. Not only did she go yard, but she went oppo yard. And the fans, there was estimates of 60 people there watching, went crazy. Now, she told me personally on a secret phone call that she was waiting to see when is the best time to hit a home run. Not early in the game, because you only get 5 home runs in a game, but she waited until the opportune time, the pitch came in, and oppo yard.
Man,
She's rejuvenating her softball career, but that's not her first love. You know that.
I do know that. I do know that. And why don't you tell the people what that first love really is?
Yeah. Well, most people don't know, but she is ranked, and her roommate, in the top 20 of NCAA disc golf. That girl can disc that golf better than most people I've ever seen. Matter of fact, down in a tournament in North Carolina, her and her roommate, in the midst of torrential downpour, ranked in the top 20 nationally of all NCAA women playing disc golf. This kid's got some ability.
Well, I'll tell you what, she really seems just like she wants to compete. I mean, I've had multiple conversations with her outside of fantasy baseball, and competition really seems to be something that drives her. Now, with disc golf, right? She played softball. She's come back and played softball. Number one, the oppo home run. That takes muscle, right? Tell us a little bit about what the athleticism you see in her. Is it the strength? Is it her physical ability, or is it just raw talent that she's able to do these things?
Yeah, it's a combination of two things. It's raw talent, and it is superior intellect. Her style of drafting players where the first letter of their first name and the first letter of their last name match, who'd have thunk that was going to happen?
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that a little bit.
It was awesome.
Let's talk about that a little bit, right? So she comes out, she gives us this absolutely wild idea of what she was thinking going into that draft, what her plan was, what her strategy was to finally have a winning season in this league, right? And a lot of people thought, you're nuts. You're nuts. Were there any players that you were really surprised that she didn't pick up following that strategy? And were there any players that you were kind of like, I don't know why she picked them up?
Yeah. Well, I'd say one that I was really shocked that she didn't even mention, Don Drysdale. Now, granted, he retired probably 35, 40 years ago, but that guy could pitch. I think the biggest one that hit me, Joe Johnson. Why did she not pick up fellow manager, former Major League Baseball player? I raised that accusation at the last one of these archival meetings. Why did she not pick up Joe Johnson to be, I don't know, a co-manager? She said she's heading off to the island of Indonesia. Where's Joe Johnson? Why can't he help? He's got a J followed by a J. Why can't he help? That's a little slip of the cranial matter that I'm really kind of worried about.
Yeah, you know, I think one of the wild things about LionLover is the more I question her decisions and the more things I hear her say, moves I see her make in fantasy, the more it doesn't make sense to me, the more it works for her. Do you think that might be one reason why she didn't pick up Joe Johnson? Why she did some of the other things, why she's leaving halfway, partway into the season and just gonna leave her team to a random assistant manager?
Yeah. These are the things that make great coaches. You think of Vince Lombardi. There were people that said, what is Vince up to? Look what he did. He's got a trophy named after him.
Yes.
You've got coaches like Yogi Berra, who said, it doesn't matter if it's money or cash. It's all the same thing. What kind of amazing intellect is that?
Yeah.
And you've got this LionLover, a.k.a. Danielle Engstrom. We don't know really where all this is going, but it seems to be working, and that is what wins championships.
Yes, it really is. Now, the last thing that we're going to address while we're here together, because I think there's a lot of folks out there that are wondering, you see in every fantasy league, you see these things and you go, how in the world did these people come up with this? And that's names, right? Names are just one of those things in fantasy that hold a special place in every owner and manager's heart, because it gives a little piece of you, to the league. Sometimes they're funny, they're weird, they're offensive, they're whatever. LionLover 15. Now, as the historian of the league, I know a lot of us may not know where that name comes from, but would you like to give us a little bit of information around where that name comes from and educate us a little bit on that?
Sure. Everybody growing up has dreams. I had a dream of being a major league pitcher. People have dreams about being astronauts. People have dreams about running for president of the United States. People have dreams about being the governor of Pennsylvania. People have dreams that are wild dreams. She had a dream. And that dream is she wanted to be a lion. Now, this information got to us through her brothers, where they said to her, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up there, kid? She said, I want to be a lion. And since that time, not only is that where we got the name LionLover, but that's where we get this ferocious attitude that she can lead a team and be undefeated at this point in the season.
Yes. Yeah, that leadership and tenacity, in a way she did grow up to be a lion. In a way.
Did.
And I remember spending time with her many, many years ago, probably 15, almost, 15, 20, between 15 and 17 years ago, we'd say, where we'd be playing the Nintendo Wii, and you look back at the couch, and this young lady is crawling on the back of the couch, roaring, because she was practicing. She was stalking
her victims.
And you can really see that come out now. So, I think as much as we made fun of her, at that young age, I think now she's the one that's laughing.
I agree. I think she's the one laughing. And maybe we could say, to conclude this time, she's the one roaring loud.
She is. Well, Dr. Historian Engstrom, thank you once again for joining us, for educating us. I look forward to our next meeting.
I do too.
Continue to educate the people throughout the season on these teams, on these owners. And is there any last thing that you want to say quickly?
Bye.